Welcome to Football Tribe with your number one Arsenal fans, Reza and Khalid, all the way from North London after the North London derby. Reza, how are you feeling after that 2-2 draw?
Well, first of all, welcome to everybody. How am I feeling? Feels a bit like a defeat.
Yeah, what are your thoughts? What's that?
It feels like a defeat, doesn't it?
It does feel like a defeat, but I think it was a game of two halves. We dominated in the first half. Spurs were slightly more dominant in the second half. So when you look at it, on balance, it's a fair result. But I think it feels like a defeat because of the expectation that we had. You know, our first 11 is far superior than Spurs's. We should have swept them aside. And especially in the first half, if we had taken the chances that we had through Nketiah and Jesus, we would have been 2-3-0 ahead. And that's why I suspect you have that lingering feeling that, you know, it's not a fair reflection. We should have got the win. But, yeah, well, where do you think we fell short today? 3 areas.
Okay. So let's start off with our starting lineup. Trossard was injured. Why on earth was Nketiah starting? I don't know. Jesus was on the left. I don't know why. He's not very good on the left. I think what we should have done is started Reece Nelson on the left, if I'm being honest. But I just look, more than the starting lineup, I just felt like we were kind of flat. We didn't do enough, especially in the second half, as you mentioned. First half was all right. I think we did okay. In fact, probably a bit more than okay, but we didn't take our chances. I think Jesus had this really good chance that he just skied. I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but I'm just disappointed, mate. I don't know what to say. I'm really upset.
No, listen, look, Spurs are one of the better teams in the league this season. They have made a lot of improvement very quickly under Ange Postecoglou. Some of their new signings, Udogie, the new central defender, Van der Ven, Maddison, you know, they've fitted in very quickly. And, you know, they're contributing to the way that Spurs are playing. They also gave a debut to Brennan Johnson today. So I think, look, there is something. And James Maddison won the Player of the Month. Postecoglou won the Manager of the Month. So we perhaps played them at their very best with the Spurs this season. I think things have to be looked at in the round. This is not the Spurs of last season.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, it's amazing what Ange has done in the last 6 months compared to our progress over the last 3 or 4 years with Arteta.
First of all, it's not been 6 months because it's just a summer appointment.
Okay, fine. Yeah, all right.
It's not been 6 months.
Weeks. It's been 6 weeks, isn't it?
It's been 6 weeks, right? Okay, but I do have some issues with what you just said there. It's not like they've made. Like, my issue is what you're saying is that our improvement over the last 3 years compared to their 6 weeks, yeah, it's too soon to make that kind of judgment. Let me remind you, Nuno Espirito Santo, he won Manager of the Month in August 2021, just 2 years ago. He won Manager of the Month. Where is he now?
Look, forget him. What I'm trying to say is, look, they've got a style of football. They've got a style of football. I just feel like Arteta, he doesn't have a plan B. He's got a plan A, and then he's left scratching his head. He doesn't know what to do. Do you see what I mean?
Well, let's break that down a little bit. I think what happened was,
I've always said to you, look, when we had our discussions, we are a Declan Rice and a Thomas Partey injury away from disaster. Our entire season being a disaster. And what's happened? Thomas Partey is injured long term. And what happened to Declan Rice? He's injured. God knows for how long. And Saka's injured as well. He turned his ankle and it didn't look very nice. So I don't know, mate. I just think it's kind of peak for us.
No, listen. Injury is a fact of football. Every team is dealing with injuries. Even Man City have talked about, Pep Guardiola has mentioned he's got a number of injuries. Kevin De Bruyne has been injured from the start of the season. And they've got John Stones is out injured. So they've got a few players who are out injured. And then they've got Rodri, who's now going to be out for 3 matches because of the red card. We've been fortunate, I thought, last season, and also to an extent so far this season. We've not had any major injuries. We've had Thomas Partey's been sidelined with injury, but because Declan Rice has fitted in so nicely into the starting 11, we've not really missed him. But today, Declan Rice goes off, Jorginho comes on, and Jorginho, with all the experience that he has, he should not be making such a schoolboy error. And he had so much time on his hands. I don't know how, but that's when we gave the second goal. That's when he conceded because of his error. I don't know what your thoughts on that. I mean, Jorginho, since he's come to Arsenal, he's been decent whenever he's played. He's been very, very decent. But I don't know what's happened today.
Yeah, I think Jorginho, look, he's a good squad player. I know he gets a lot of criticism from the Arsenal fans, but I don't think he's that bad, if I'm being honest. He's a good backup to like Partey in the midfield. And he does kind of solidify the midfield. I do agree with that. Today he was shocking, honestly. Maddison like dispossessed him for the goal, right? And there were a couple of other times that I saw Maddison doing the same thing, but I don't know. Look, you've got Jorginho, you've got Havertz. What the hell was Havertz doing the whole game? He was like a feather. He was just getting pushed off the ball so easily. He didn't have any end product. I don't know what he was doing. I was watching it with my son, and I was like, "Where the hell is Havertz? What is he doing?" And I was like, kind of focusing on him for about 5 or 10 minutes. And seriously, it just seems like he just doesn't want to be there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think Havertz, obviously, his body language can sometimes give the wrong impression. Let's go back to Jorginho, because I think, look, Jorginho is supposed to be more than a capable cover in that CDM role. And I just think in such an important match like the North London Derby, and perhaps we are playing, I don't know, Liverpool or Man City, it just takes one moment, one error to make all the difference in the match. And well, similarly...
That's elite football for you. That is elite sport for you. That's why these guys get paid what they get paid. And this is why we pay silly money for these kind of players. Elite football is all about fine margins. And fine margins...
It is all about the margins.
This game.
So right? It's the margin of... It's the margin of error that cost us the second goal. And also, when we talk about it's all about the margins, and it's all about the margins in the first half with Nketiah just shooting at the goalkeeper. And then Jesus, when he had the opportunity, he just skied it. When we talk about margins, you're not going to get more opportunities in a match like this. Like Haaland, Son, forget Haaland. Son, 2 shots on goal, 2 goals.
Yep. Well, exactly.
He had 100% conversion.
And that's the difference between having a clinical finisher and not having one, as you know, as we've seen with Nketiah. Nketiah, as I said to you earlier on, he needs about 3 chances to score 1 goal. Do you know what? I'll revise that. He probably needs about 7 chances to score 1 goal. What was he doing the whole game? Just running around. Okay, he puts the work in, but every player should be putting the work in, right? We're Arsenal Football Club. It's not acceptable for us to say, oh, he works hard. Come on, I think that's just a bit nonsense, if I'm being honest.
No, but I think you're absolutely right.
My mind is all over the place right now. I just feel like we should have battered Tottenham. We should have absolutely battered Tottenham. They were there for the taking. We were at home, and we drew. Our second half was horrible. Honestly, they outplayed us at the Emirates. When was the last time that happened? Especially with Tottenham, honestly.
No, I hear you. I hear you. It was indeed. No, it was a game of two halves. Let's not make any mistake about it. It was a game of two halves. I think, like, on reflection, of course, I feel the same way that we should have won. We should have battered Spurs. But this is where we had the opportunity to do that in the first half. We didn't take those chances. And this is, for me, the first takeaway, the first talking point, is that what Arsenal is still missing. I think the jigsaw is almost complete. There's one piece missing, and that is a clinical, prolific goal scorer. That's somebody who has the natural instinct in front of the goal, somebody who's going to get into good positions, and somebody who's going to bury those chances. Look at the way that Son buried his chances today. That first goal was a world-class finish. He was surrounded by 3 Arsenal defenders, and he was still able to finish that opportunity off. And also the second goal as well. And that's what you need. I think if we've talked about this in the past, if Ivan Toney is available in January, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? I know you weren't a big fan in the past, but what are your thoughts?
You know that Raya Toney combination that was there during Brentford's whilst Raya was there at Brentford. If he can replicate that for Arsenal, we'll be a killing machine. Honestly, Ivan Toney, as much as I criticized him for all the things that happened in the past, the guy's a baller. Yeah. He's a proper striker. Do you know what I mean? He will get you 20 goals a season. He will definitely do that. Yeah. I like Toney, and I want Toney at Arsenal. And I'll be honest with you, if it was me, if I were the Arsenal manager, I'd have signed Toney in the summer, even with the ban. I'd have signed him, locked him away. Forget about Havertz. Honestly, I don't know what Arteta's thinking. The guy, we've seen 3 seasons of Havertz, Kai Havertz, Shai Havertz at Chelsea. 3 seasons and nothing. What the hell does Arteta think that he's going to do with that coffin-dwelling? Oh, I can't stand him, honestly. The guy. All
right, listen. So Kai Havertz today has completed. Kai Havertz.
He's like sleepwalking.
Kai Havertz completed 007 today. 007.
But seriously, the guy is sleepwalking. He's sleepwalking on the pitch.
Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is a 007 agent from Chelsea. 0 goals, 0 assists, 7 matches. Kai Havertz, 007 agent from Chelsea, confirmed today. Chelsea, meanwhile, got beaten again at home by Aston Villa with a £1 billion squad. We're going to talk about Chelsea at the end, but let's go back. Let's go back to Toney, Ivan Toney in January. 100%. Let me tell you why that makes sense. Let me tell you why it makes sense. Yeah. Let me tell you why it makes sense, because that is the one piece that is missing currently. Our whole setup is complete. Our back 4 is complete. Our goalkeeping situation is there. And then also our midfield is complete. We've got backups in every position. We've got Saka on the wing.
Let's rewind a bit. Let's
okay.
All right. Our goalkeeping position. Okay, I think that's complete. We've got Raya. I think he's our number 1 goalkeeper. That save that he made in the first half,
Yeah, world class, world class.
Oh, that was a world.
I don't know. I don't know how he did it. I like it didn't look humanly possible to save that goal.
Yeah. It reminded me of that save that David Seaman made all those years ago against Scotland. It was a brilliant save. It was a brilliant save. David Raya, brilliant, excellent sweeper keeper, brilliant with his feet, excellent. So I'm happy with defense. The goalkeeping position. Let's talk about defense. Right back. Do we have adequate cover on the Ben White? Yeah. So do we have adequate cover for Ben White should he get injured?
Tomiyasu.
Okay, fine. But we almost need a cover for Tomiyasu because that guy is always injured. Let's face it.
No, he's available. Injured. He's available. Tomiyasu is available.
Now he is, but I don't know. Ever since he's come to Arsenal, I think.
Now listen, Tomiyasu is a great cover. He was man of the match for Japan when they demolished Germany. He's a good player. He's a good player.
I mean, that's not saying much. That German squad is probably the weakest squad I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah, whatever it is, Japan, all right, walloping Germany is, and Tomiyasu was man of the match.
Okay, Tommy. Okay, fine. All right. Remember, is Tommy your right back backup?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Now
and also on the left back. And also in central defense, right? Well, not in central. I think Arteta.
How many positions is this guy going to cover, Mr. Versatile?
He only covers right and left fullbacks, and also similarly with Urian Timber when he comes back, he covers right and left as well.
Oh, he's a big miss. Timber looked amazing in pre-season, honestly.
Yeah. He will cover both.
He looked amazing. All right. So we've got Tomiyasu covering right back. Right central defense. At the moment, we've got Saliba. If he gets injured, what happens? Who fills in for him?
Well, I think then Ben White comes into right central defense, and Tomiyasu plays right back.
Ben White, we know how bad he is in central defense. In his first season, he was exposed all the time. He's not a good central defender, and you know that, and I know that.
But that's the cover. That's the cover that we've got.
No, but I'm just saying, is that adequate cover?
Yeah, but you can't have a world-class cover.
Let's go back. What is our objective? Is it to win the Premier League? If we want to win the Premier League, we need to knock Man City off the top. Man City are a title-winning machine.
Yeah.
Right. And now we can't just say our cover for Saliba is some other player that plays, shoehorning players into positions. We need proper backup.
I think Ben White is adequate. Ben White is adequate.
Adequate is different from having a centre back cover.
Yeah, but I think then I think the answer you're looking for is that we don't have somebody that is like for like. We don't have like for like.
So we're kind of establishing a trend. So already, we are very light, right? We are very light in the defensive positions, and then we're going to go into the midfield, and then we go into the striking positions. And if we go through every single position, you'll realize we're not ready, despite Arteta spending 600 million or whatever it was during his tenure. We're not ready to win the league.
Yeah, well, look, I think with Urian Timber, that was a very good acquisition in the summer. It's unfortunate that he's missing because he would have made the difference in the back in defense. In midfield, I think Declan Rice has already made the difference.
Let's finish it. Let's finish this, right? We'll spend a few minutes on this, right? Saliba, we've agreed we don't have adequate. Okay, we have Ben White. Okay, fine. All right, he can. We can judge him. We can judge that afterwards. We've got Gabriel on the left side.
And then Kivior is a backup for Gabriel.
Okay, do you know what? I don't mind Kivior. I think he's decent. I think
Kivior is good.
Yeah, I think he's decent, and I think he is good enough for us to win the win major honors. He's good enough. Okay. And on the left side, we've got Zinchenko.
Yeah.
Okay. Zinchenko, not a good defender in my opinion, and he's already admitted himself on the interview with whoever it was the other week. He said that I think it was Rio Ferdinand, where he said that he's not a good defender. He needs to improve. Okay, so who is the cover for that? Is it Tomiyasu again?
It is Tomiyasu, but it would have been Kieran Tierney. It would have been Kieran Tierney. I don't know why we loaned him out, because he's a better defender than Zinchenko. That was a mistake.
Yeah. Big mistake.
I would say getting rid of Rob Holding and Kieran Tierney does weaken the overall defense options, because then who do we have? We just have Tomiyasu and Kivior at the moment. Nobody else, because Timber is out.
We still have Cedric, right? So he can.
Cedric Suarez is back. Yeah. He's a right back. But again, I don't know how good he will be coming into the team. Like Rob Holding came in last season and he was below par. But anyway, look, the defense, I would say, is actually, when you look at the totality of the options that we've got, it's probably lighter than last week with the absence of Timber. Okay. Timber added in, maybe slightly better than last season, but when Timber is absent, it's actually worse than last season.
Yeah,
because we've lost Tierney and we've lost Rob Holding.
Yeah. Okay. So then in the midfield, our starting midfielders are probably Thomas Partey, although I don't know why Arteta has been playing him on right back.
Yeah.
It will be Declan Rice and Thomas Partey, in my opinion, as the starters. Who are their covers?
Well, you've got Jorginho as the defensive midfield cover, and if you're talking about the number 8, then you've got a few options. Number 8, you got Trossard, ESR. They can play Fabio Vieira. He can play in the number 8.
So I think that in that position, maybe we have got enough cover, but Jorginho, he's 50-50 for me. He's good for the last 10 minutes of the game, just to kind of shore things up, although he didn't do a very good job today, but generally speaking, he is fairly solid. And then you've got, obviously you've also got Kai Havertz, haven't you?
Yeah.
Playing in those positions. So yeah, I think we've got enough players for those positions, although the drop-off from Rice and Partey, excluding Trossard, because I don't think Arteta will ever play him in that position. He's probably going to play him on the left or the right. But I think all in all, we're okay. I think we're okay. On the right side now, Saka.
Yeah, Saka and Nelson.
My opinion is, number one, Nelson, Arteta always plays him on the left.
Yeah.
I personally think that Nelson's best position is on the left. He came on today. He did a good job, in my opinion. He made things happen. He was quite advanced. You know, he did more than what Gabriel Jesus did, in my opinion, because Jesus, he's not his best position is more like centre forward or in that number 10 position, in my opinion. So I think Trossard, I think Nelson is more suited to the left, but okay, you can say he is the cover for Saka if he's injured. It'll be interesting to see if Saka is actually injured, if Nelson does fill in for him in that position. But I think the drop off is huge.
Yeah. Well, you can't. So look, the truth is there are certain players you can't replace. Saka is one of them. Odegaard is one of them. I think on the left, probably if Martinelli is out injured, Trossard is probably the same as, if not even better, this season. There's no drop off there. Odegaard is out. Who do you bring in? right? I mean, there isn't. I would say, like, if Partey's out, Rice is there. Again, there isn't much of a drop off. But Arteta hasn't played Rice and Partey in the league together. He played Rice and Partey against Man City at Wembley in the Community Shield, and we won that match. And I think for me, that is the most perfect, to have Partey sitting deep and to have Rice, box to box. He's energetic, he's great going forward, and he's got all the qualities, and he's definitely an upgrade on Granit Xhaka. I think Arteta should definitely ditch any plans that he's got with Kai Havertz. Havertz into the squad improves the squad. Certain qualities where, he does. A squad that didn't have Havertz, a squad that has Havertz is a better squad, if you look at it in that sense. But I don't think he necessarily needs to start in the first 11. We've got so many other options, so many other players. So look, I think I would say our main weakness is up front. Gabriel Jesus, we love him for all the skills, for all the dribbling, for all the flair and the skills that he brings to the table. But is he the player to finish off, to score the goals? Like those two opportunities that we're sitting here now, we're talking about in the first half, had we put them away, we've won that match. We won that match, 3 points in the bag. And that's what Man City are doing week in, week out. They're finishing off their chances. They are going 2-0, 3-0 ahead against Nottingham Forest. In the second half, they played with 10 men. Rodri was sent off, but they already done the business. They took their chances, goals, points in the bag. And that's what Arsenal need to be doing. So I feel like Mikel Arteta and Arsenal are in the phase where Man City perhaps were, where they had Gabriel Jesus as their main attacking option, and they weren't winning the Champions League. They weren't winning multiple trophies in a season. They were just about winning the league, right? And then obviously Guardiola came to the realization that Jesus is not going to take them far. So he got rid of Jesus, gave him to Arsenal, okay? And you can now see why he was happy doing business with Arsenal, because he's brought in Erling Haaland, who is now taking them to that level where he's winning 3 trophies in a row, and also nobody can touch them in the league. Whereas previously, Jesus was sufficient to just win the league. Now they've upped their level so high that it's gone to another level with Erling Haaland and Julian Alvarez, World Cup winner. So, their options in attack, they're never ever going to struggle for goals. They're never going to struggle for goals, and they do not concede at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They conceded the fewest goals last season. And who do they go out and buy in the summer? Their most expensive player is Gvardiol on a defender. They strengthen a position in which they're already very, very strong.
Yeah,
I think there is, in my mind, this area that we've got to strengthen, to get a striker who scores goals. This has to be addressed in the January transfer window. Whether it's Ivan Toney, whether it's Victor Boniface, Victor Osimhen, whoever can score goals needs to be brought in. And I think, look, Jesus and Nketiah, there's plenty to do. Long season, 4 competitions, many matches to play. They can get minutes, but that centre forward to score the goals, we need to bring that player in the January transfer window. We need to break the bank to bring that player in.
Ivan Toney.
If it's Ivan Toney, it's Ivan Toney. I think, look, what the Brentford manager Thomas Frank has said, that if you look around world football today, there aren't too many very good number 9s that will score 20, 25 goals. And he said Ivan Toney is one of them. And then obviously you had Erling Haaland and Harry Kane in that sort of first tier. And I would say immediately below that, in the second tier, you've got Ivan Toney.
No, absolutely. But Arsenal
Erling Haaland is not.
Arsenal.
Erling Haaland is not available. Harry Kane is not available, right? Victor Osimhen is not going to be available for less than 200, 150, because the Saudis have expressed an interest in Victor Osimhen. Okay, he's going to go for 200, whatever. So forget that. That's out of reach. But Ivan Toney may be the best option that we've got.
Yeah. It's interesting that we had a 20 goal a season.
Right, so I think
in Balogun, but we decided to sell him.
Are you still there? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm still there. I'm still here. Can you hear me? Yeah. I think Khalid's frozen.